I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, and this is Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. If you asked me what I thought about my high school years, I would say, I just never really fit in. But if I had gone to Bellevue High School, I would have definitely fit into Mr. Bauer's Marine Lab. Coral eye candy, fish eye candy, that's great for you and me, but this tank is in a high school. What's Mr. Bauer's thinking behind putting it in a school setting?
I use it primarily as a hook to get students interested in science, to say, wow, what is that? Start asking questions, to become natural scientists. Some students will go on and do that. They'll go through the training. It's before or after school. And being able to come in and see the tanks and have a part of it by just the visual really creates great excitement in my classroom. It's much more interesting than having just still pictures or videotapes. And it's very, very handy when you want to do demonstrations. You're able to pull something alive out or bring the class over to the aquarium and see any sort of property being demonstrated.
You said they have to be trained. What kind of training program do students have to go through?
Our senior lab manager is a high school student who has been through the program for 4 years, and they have designed a series of tests. So they demonstrate how to properly run chemistry tests, pH, nitrogen, nitrites, etc. And the students that are interested in helping and learning and getting more involved have to demonstrate that they can do those tests successfully, understand numbers, what they mean, when to make a change and when not to make a change.
So we have a reef tank, mangroves. Tell me about all the different kind of tanks and programs you have going on in this classroom.
Okay, we have our reef display, and this is a 412-gallon mixed Indo-Pacific. There are a few creatures that aren't from the Indo-Pacific, but for the most part they are. Students have been monitoring coral growth through the year for different sections and different species. I've tried really hard to have examples of as many different kinds of growth patterns as possible. Even though it's nice to look pretty, this is first and foremost a working tank. We have a bamboo shark tank behind us. Behind the reef tank is a small tank that we have some baby bangais that were born pseudo-wild in our aquarium. We had tried to do a breeding program with them, and it was completely unsuccessful. Dumped them into the reef tank, all the adults, and when we noticed, then suddenly there were babies being born in the bottom of our sump.
Dave, I've seen a whole bunch of mangroves over here. Walk me over here and tell me what it's all about. Dave, this looks like a small refugium.
In a way it is. We have a traumatophoreal algae, and I have the rotation shut off, but that normally slowly tumbles and does a lot of nutrient pickup. But the heart of our system here is mangrove trees, and we've grown them for a couple of reasons. One, they do have a nutrient uptake ability, but number two, and more importantly, along their roots we get a number of great epiphytes, sponges, algae, all sorts of creatures, and it becomes the housing then for a lot of planktonic creatures as well. And so what we do is, with them growing, we have a twinsie on the other side that is on a timer, and every few seconds pushes a little bit of water through it, sort of shakes everything loose, and then that water drains through to our coral frag tank, which is sort of in idle right now, and then onto the reef tank.
This is a marine lab, which implies experiments, so I had to hear about the experiments that Mr. Bauer's students carry on here.
One of the biggest ones was with our shark tank. Two of our girls collected shark fecal pellets and took them up to the University of Toledo to endocrinology's medical department and identified stress hormones and established a baseline stress level for captive-bred bamboo sharks. One of the things they did was they found a new variety of cortisol, a sister chemical of the stress hormone, and so they couldn't do a one-for-one comparison because this chemical had never been identified before. and it was not known to even in sharks. So this was exciting work, and it led them on to careers in studying sharks. So that was very exciting.
So even though we're here in northwestern Ohio, you guys have actually been recognized on a national scale.
3 years ago, we were nominated by both the Toledo Reef Club and the Central Ohio Reef Club, Cora, as outstanding classroom, and they sent recommendation letters to MACNA, and the MACNA committee selected us as the National Classroom of the Year, and they took us out to Des Moines, Iowa, and they had free tickets for myself and a couple of students, and we got to meet a lot of the industry people, got to see firsthand some of the things that go on at a MACNA, which is very exciting.
Dave, you've got a lot of equipment in this room. You've got light bulbs that need to be replaced, RODI filters need to be replaced, tanks, saltwater. How do you get funding for this program?
In years past, we were very self-sufficient. We were able to sell candy bars and things like that, but federal regulations and state laws have changed that, and so we can't sell those candies anymore. And so we've relied on, like, the Jennings Foundation. We won a $2,000 grant 2 years ago with them, and that helped us a lot. The kindness of strangers from time to time. And we worked the concession stand for a couple of basketball games. But we don't have steady income, and that's been a real challenge for planning. And so we basically have to buy all the staples at one time, and then we know if we have any play money left over for projects and things like that. It's not easy.
Considering the amount of projects that the Marine Lab has going on, and the fact that it's run on a shoestring budget, I was impressed at the level of total saltwater tank immersion that Mr. Bowers gives his students. So good job with the Marine Lab, Mr. Bowers, and thanks for educating the next generation of reef keepers. If you want to find out more about Mr. Bowers' Marine Lab, just follow the link at the bottom of your screen. I'm Mark Kelly and Mr. Saltwater Tank. This has been Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. Till next time, have a good one, enjoy your tanks, and know your tank personality.